A Korean War veteran from Grand Rapids fought in the war but never went to boot camp. It's something that would be unheard of in the U.S. military today.
News 8's Kyle Mitchell explains why he wasn't the only one to find himself on the front line without boot camp training.
At 94, Sergeant Howard Davis is a survivor.
I was there a year and 4 days in serving in the Able Company 7 Marines. Yeah, so a lot of men come and go. Yeah.
The Korean War veteran served in the Marine Corps Reserve but never had what is considered a rite of passage in the military, the intense training of boot camp.
In the 20th century, it only happened one time, and that was at the beginning of the Korean War. Military had gotten so low after World War II. Now today that would never happen because first you go to boot camp, and then you get out of the boot camp and go in the reserves.
The retired preacher from Grand Rapids joined the reserves with 2 close friends.
My friends and I, 3 of us enlisted on June 22nd, 1948. We were all just about 19 at that time.
Joining a reserve unit meant not being drafted. They were in the middle of a health screening for the National Guard when they heard the Marine Corps Reserve was taking new recruits.
And all of a sudden we said, whoa, that's better than the National Guard. So we told them to tear up our papers, and we went up and enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve.
Davis wasn't alone, ending up on the front line without attending boot camp.
What happened was that most reserve units were organized at either 47 or 48. And so you could enlist for 2, 3, or 4 years. And most people enlisted for 2 years. And they got out before the Korean War started. And so the number that served in that capacity were about 8,500.
Concerned they could be drafted after serving voluntarily as Marines, Davis and his friends signed up for 3 years.
We thought, now the draft law is for 2 years, and the president hasn't signed that bill yet. So we can serve 2 years in the reserve and still get drafted.
But they were wrong. The men who signed up for 2 years ended up finishing before the Korean War started. Davis went to Camp Pendleton, and the Marine Corps determined he had enough training to fight.
There were those like me who had been in 2 years and had gone to at least 72 training sessions, which we had, and had gone to 1 summer camp, which we had at Camp Lejeune. We were deemed combat ready.
Like most who serve will tell you, the reality of combat life is something they'll never forget.
You know, it's not just that you're getting shot at, which you are, and so forth, and you're shooting and so forth and that stuff, but you live outdoors. If it's cold, you're cold, and then at night, one person had to stay awake while the other one slept. And so you slept half the night, and about 3 hours you sat there huddled up with your weapon ready.
Davis says he's fortunate to have made it through the war when so many lost lives or came back injured.
We were off the line from July 1st to the middle of August. We took such heavy casualties end of May and June. The worst was May 29th. We tried taking a hill. We started out with 63 in my platoon and ended up with 13 that night. And my company lost all the officers except 1. All 6 of our corpsmen were gone.
Despite the human toll, the Marine says without the U.S. military, South Korean democracy wouldn't exist.
A lot of wars, you wonder, why did they fight that? Why did they fight that? I always say war is the great insanity of mankind, but we saved South Korea. They're a prosperous nation today.
Miraculously, Davis and his 2 friends made it home. He went to college, seminary, and served most recently at a church in Wyoming. Becoming a minister is something he says wouldn't have happened without serving in the Marine Corps Reserve.
So it changed my life. Changed everybody's life, incidentally.
In Grand Rapids, Kyle Mitchell, News 8.